Hey fourth graders, it's time to make your clay project. You are going to have a bag with your name on it that has 2 large squares of clay in it, as well as a couple extra pieces of clay for added decoration, like handles or we're going to have to make a foot. You are going to need a clay mat. It comes with 2 parts. A non-stick part, that's the small brown square, and then the waterproof part, which is the colorful part. Speaking of water, you'll need water to keep your clay nice and wet throughout building your double pinch pot. You will need a toothbrush for scratching and scoring. The popsicle stick in your toolbox is great for cutting clay, like a knife. And the pointy stick is really great for drawing on clay. Let's get started by taking out the 2 large pieces of clay you have in your bag. Your first job is to make 2 pinch pots with these 2 squares. Hopefully you've been at Thornton long enough that you have made pinch pots with me before, but if not, don't worry, I will teach you how to make them. Again, make sure that your clay is watered up so that you can easily mush the squares into spheres. You can use your hand muscles to help roll it into a sphere, and you can also use the table as well. The better sphere you make in the beginning, the smoother and nicer looking your pinch pot will be. So take some time with this, but make sure not to play with the clay so long that it starts to dry out. And use plenty of water. Once your sphere is ready to go, take your thumb and push a little hole into it. Already, it's a tiny little bowl. The thing is, the sides of this bowl are too thick and the opening is too small. So this is where the pinching comes in. You are going to take your hands and gently pinch the sides of the bowl or pinch pot to become thinner and more even. Remember, water is good to help erase cracks, but you never want to overdo the water either, because otherwise it's just going to turn into liquid mud. That's not very easy to work with. So carefully form your pinch pot, like so. And after we have one done, we're going to go to the other square and do the exact same thing. Roll it into a sphere, put our thumb into the sphere so that it starts the bowl shape, and then pinch out the rest using just enough water. I'm going to go ahead and make this other pinch pot. Awesome. Both of the pinch pots look great. Now it's time to take them and stack them together like this. You might have to do a little squeezing to make it fit right, which is fine. Clay really does what you need it to do. And you're going to make a bigger cup out of 2 pinch pots. First, pick the one that you want on top. And then cut out the bottom with the popsicle stick. Take out the bottom and save it, because we're going to use it to create something else. And see how there's a big hole now in the top pinch pot? We need that so that you can see all the way down to the other pinch pot you have. To stick these 2 things together, you are going to need the toothbrush to scratch and score. You're going to scratch the top of one pinch pot and the bottom of the other, and this will create a million tiny little suction cups with the clay to help it stick together. make sure that you press and really secure the two pinch pots together. After you've taken some time to make sure that your pinch pot is really pushed together, you are ready to be a little bit more creative. You can start changing the shape of this pinch pot from here using your pinching fingers, like so. Make sure while you're working with it that you keep it wet. And you can even cut pieces out of the rim like I do to make like a flower. It's looking pretty cool. It looks really different from when I first showed it to you, doesn't it? You don't have to make a flower out of your double pinch pot. It's just an idea. You could leave it like it was. But after you're done changing the shape of it, you need to make something called a foot for it. You will take that clay you saved and you will roll out a snake shape with it. And you are going to create a foot around the bottom of the pinch pot to help it stay balanced. You don't want it to tip over easily, so adding this foot will help it stay sturdy and stand up. This also needs to be scratched and scored. Any clay that you want to stick together needs to be scratched and scored, or else it'll just fall off, and that would be such a shame. So this is going to stick nicely because I scratched and scored it. I'm going to hide the fact that it overlapped by rubbing it. Cool. After I have the foot on my pinch pot, I am going to write my name with the pointy tool on the bottom. Be gentle. Try not to poke the tool all the way through. It's not as easy as it looks writing in clay, so just go slow. And then, once your name is on your pinch pot, it's time to use that pointy tool for more things, like texture. And you can even use your extra clay that you have in the bag, or from any other things that you cut out of the clay to create additions to your pot. Maybe you could add a handle to it. Maybe you could add like 3D polka dots to it. Just make sure that you scratch and score everything. So I'm gonna be quiet and let you watch me work. I'm gonna add a tiny bee and some leaves to this flower. Be creative. I just had to stop for a second and show you my little bee because I really like him. Check him out. Now he got scratched and scored, and the flower got scratched and scored where I wanted to stick him so that he stays. Okay? I poked some polka dots inside of the flower to make it look more realistic. And now I'm going to use some more extra clay to create those leaves I was talking about. I changed the shape of the clay to a leaf shape just by pinching it into the shape I want. I used the texture tools to add those lines, like the pointy tool, I mean. And I scratched and scored the bee and the leaves so that they would stick on and not fall off. And I'm super happy with this. Now it needs to dry for a week before it gets cooked in the kiln, and then we'll add some color.